Hello there guys, and welcome back to another episode of Rebuilding Histon. And in today's episode we have the final league game of the season. It could be the last game of the season itself, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But since we're going to talk about what's been happening since you were last with us, which is all the way back at this unfortunate 3-0 home defeat to the league leaders, Salisbury FC. We then went on and unfortunately lost away from home to AFC Portchester. Based on the stats, the defence did alright, it's just that our attacking force wasn't good enough on the day, and Joe Charles scored the only goal of the match, and that resulted in AFC Portchester taking all 3 points and helped aid their survival chances in the overall league. As you can see, based off the defence, the only guy that was on a below 6.8 actually was with Luke Colquhoun at 6.8, which is the lowest rating out of everybody, except for Kevin Carrillo, who was on a 6.5. But the worst ones are probably the strikers, with Marsh Kutung getting 6.3, 6.4 for James Difford as well, and a 6.4 for Justin May. So nothing really up front from us that was able to cause any problems for AFC Portchester, and that's why we lost the match. However, we got back to winning ways with a 3-0 home win against Poole Town. Fantastic result against a team that has now been officially relegated from the division. Josh Green with a goal and Callum Frew with 2 goals resulted in the match being over and us keeping a clean sheet as well. Nice, good stats from pretty much everybody apart from, say, Stephen Cox, who was on for 64 minutes and only got a 6.8. But overall, it was a fantastic set of stats based off the overall ratings right there. Unfortunately, we weren't able to carry that on into the next match, which was an away game against Dorchester, which was probably our toughest game remaining in the season following our defeat to Salisbury. As you can see, Max Makaka opened the scoring for Dorchester before Dave Tarpe scored a penalty, and then Josh Green pulled it back for a consolation, but unfortunately we weren't able to find our way through for an equaliser, and we ended up losing this match, which was a bit of a frustration. But we already had a pretty good advantage over Dorchester, so it didn't really affect us in terms of our league position. However, since that game, we've gone on a massively good run of form towards the end of the season, and that's become very, very significant when it comes to the league. So we started off with a 3-0 home victory against Weston-super-Mare, another team has been officially relegated now. Callum Frew scored after 41 minutes, followed by Justin May 2 minutes before half-time. Josh Green then added the third. And as you can see, based on the stats, Weston-super-Mare didn't really create anything. 5 shots, 1 on target. We had 15 shots, 10 on target. More possession. Yes, a lot more fouls, but only 1 yellow card this time around. So that was really fortunate for us that we were able to get away with only just 1 booking, despite that number of fouls. We then went on and followed that up with a 4-1 at home victory against Basingstoke. James Difford opened the scoring after 33 minutes, and he scored his brace, his second goal after 42, before Sam Deadfield pulled one back for Basingstoke from the penalty spot. Justin May and Josh Green, though, however, wrapped up the points for us, and it was another fantastic, crucial win. This time around, we weren't able to get away with the yellow cards. As you can see, 5 yellow cards picked up in this match from 24 fouls. So again, probably a discipline thing we need to look at. We unfortunately, though, dropped points away at Mangotsfield, but we still remained unbeaten. James Difford scored again, but Jamie Calvin equalised. However, it could have been a lot worse because George Cole missed a penalty very early on, inside 17 minutes, which Reece Bills was able to save. So we straight away went down the other end and scored after 24 minutes before Jamie Calvin rescued a point for Mangotsfield, and we were only able to draw that game. But we kept that little unbeaten run going, and we followed that up with a comfortable 2-0 victory against bottom of the table Stratford, team that's also been relegated. Josh Green scoring both goals in the second half. Didn't really get going in the first half, but then we were able to get back to it, and Josh Green was able to put 2 more goals onto his tally for the season. As you can see, Stratford weren't able to register a shot on target throughout the entire game. Just shows how much they're struggling this season, and the fact that they've been relegated quite convincingly this year. We then followed that up with the penultimate game of the season, which was a slender 1-0 victory against Ashford Middlesex. James Difford scoring the only goal of the game. Ashford Middlesex didn't really have a sniff at us. 3 shots, 1 on target, compared to our 13 shots and 7 on target, which was an absolutely crucial win in the end. And now that we're at the end of those set of matches, we're going to quickly show you what's been happening in the league. As you can see, we are only 2 points behind Salisbury. We were, I think, at worst, about 5 to 8 points behind Salisbury, and now that gap's all the way down to 2 points. So the title's actually gone down to the last game of the season. Unfortunately, though, unlike the first time we were in this sort of situation, I think in season 1 in the division below, where we managed to win the league, the destiny is out of our hands. We have to rely on Salisbury losing away at Barwell, and we have to win away at Leamington. So it's probably not going to happen. Fortunately, though, we are secure in second place, so that means we should have home field advantage when it comes to the playoffs against some of these teams there. There's a bit of a Dorchester and Merthyr Town are scrapping as to who will finish in third place for that second spot, or that third spot, and who will get the home advantage in that. Then there's a three-way fight as to who's going to make the final spot and who will probably be playing us in the playoffs if we do miss out on automatic promotion and the league title, between Truro, Brackley, and Hereford. Alright, apologies for that. I just needed to quickly check something that was actually working. Yeah, so basically, our destiny is out of our hands. We have to make sure that we get it into the. If we have any chance of winning the league and going up automatically, we have to rely on Salisbury losing their match, and we have to win away at Leamington. And I was just mentioning as well, Dorchester and Merthyr Town are secure in third and fourth. It's just a question as to who will finish ahead of whoever, and that will decide who's at home. And then there's a scrap to see who's going to be getting into that final playoff spot to play us, which will be either Truro, Brackley, or Hereford, who have fought all the way back up the league and have now put themselves in a good position to get into the playoffs. But they have to rely on Truro and Brackley slipping up. Let's see what the actual fixtures are. Truro are away at Hereford. That's a big match. And then Brackley are at home to AFC Portchester. So if Hereford have to win their game against Truro then, and they have to hope that Brackley do mess up a little bit, either drop 2 points, either draw, or even lose, because Hereford have got the better goal difference. So, and in terms of the bottom, everyone has already been relegated. Dunstable, Weston-super-Mare, and Poole and Stratford, as I mentioned earlier on in the episode when I was going through the games, they've all been relegated officially. Dunstable also going down as well, 11 points behind 20th place AFC Kempston. So, without further ado, let us get into the final game of the season. I'm not particularly hopeful for this match because we had a team meeting before this final game of the season, and it didn't go well. And as you can see, based off the morale, it didn't really go well, and everyone's morale unfortunately dropped. So we're going to have to try and get something out of this. Try and get something out of this game without that affecting us too much. So fingers crossed we can get the morale up in the team talk prior to this match. I'm going to go for Reece Bills in goal with Ussie Fua, Osborne, Utteridge, and Carrillo as the back four. Simeon May and Alfie Davidson in the middle because Callum Frew is unfortunately suspended. He will, however, be back for the playoffs if we do make it into the playoffs if we do end up dropping it into the playoffs. Sorry, we're already in the playoffs actually because of the whole points system at the moment. We're going to go for a bench of Colquhoun, Goff, Wolf, Bonner, and Marsh Katung. And I completely missed out the attacking midfield options with Steve Reed and Justin May in the wing positions, with James Difford and Josh Green lining up front for us. We focus on defensive position today because we're away from home, and I think we need to, in order for us to win, I think we're going to have to get an ugly either 1-0 or 2-1 victory, and I think we need to ensure that we don't concede many goals against Leamington, who are a dangerous side. Who remember the last couple of years they've been fighting for promotion. Unfortunately for them, it's they've kind of tailed off a little bit since that. And anyways, we're going to actually move on into this match. We actually also had a youth intake as well. Just quickly show you a couple of the players that looked quite good. I don't know where I do this actually. Alright, I found him. It's Robert Lee, who's a new player that's coming into via the youth system. As you can see, he's already at 1.5 stars, and he's good as a ball-winning midfielder and possibly a deep-line playmaker. So we might actually bring him up into the first team during the off season or during the pre-season, and hopefully we can get a little bit more game time. He might be able to play alongside a Phil Wolf, who's on roughly the same star rating as him, and hopefully he will be giving him a little bit more experience based off. Let's see what his development is. Like, we were already training him as a ball-winning midfielder already, and a couple of his stats have started to go up already. So sorry, apologies for that. Apologies for the delay on that. Let's actually get on with the match itself. I just mentioned the team already. We're going to get into it right now. Fingers crossed we can get through it. Simeon May and Davidson lacking match sharpness, which is not good. Davidson has come back from injury, as you probably saw right there, which is fantastic. Unfortunately, though, if he does get a yellow card today, he might be suspended for the playoffs. In case we don't end up in case we end up staying in the playoffs, that's probably very unlikely that we will move up ahead of Salisbury. We've got to rely on Salisbury losing their game away from home. I mean, they were they got a goal right at the end of the last game when we played Ashfield Middlesex, which resulted in them keeping that 2-point gap. If they'd only drawn that game, we would be level on points, and it'd be a lot more open as to who's going to win the league this time around. So we've got actually a team news thing. What to do? I'm going to go for that. Looks like we're set for final day drama to that. Danny Waters is featured. He's just been rested. Right, let's get on with this particular game. They've got two strikers. Ahmed Beng is obviously the main man for them, as was mentioned in the pre-match stuff at the bottom of the screen. We're going to do our standard thing. They've got an injury to Ryan Rowe, which is, I remember his name as well from the last time we played against him in the, I think in the was it the League Cup or something? We played them in back-to-back league and cup games away from home, and he just completely obliterated us. And he's coming off the bench here, so hopefully he doesn't cause us any problems here. We're going to go for what to do with this. Going to go for that, and hopefully they're a bit more motivated. As you can see, there's a couple of morale changes, which is fantastic. Trying to get them all, majority of them, into the green, which is important. As you can see, we're starting to do that now. I think I shouldn't really call the team meeting, because that's kind of really messed up our team morale. But a couple of the guys look already in the green right there, so fingers crossed they are now going to be motivated to score today and actually give Salisbury a run for their money and push them all the way to the end of the season. As Bills takes the goal kick, and there's a foul by Utteridge and on Obeng right there, and that is the end of the highlights. Right, corner for Leamington, ball in from Firestone, and Tony's there, and it's a pin ball in the box, and Onel Odofin has scored his first goal of the season and in the last game of the year, and it's now 1-0 Leamington. Not a good start for us. Okay, here's the highlight. A Freestone with the corner, as I mentioned before. I think we looked to have nodded it down towards the goal, our goal, and Odofin, with a couple of deflections, is able to tap it into the middle of the goal there. I don't think Bills was really paying attention as to what was actually happening right there. Based on the stats already, Leamington looked to be very, very good. We've had 2 shots, 2 on target, but nothing of note at the moment. Ooh, as I've also noticed that Hereford have actually gone ahead into the 5th place, so it looks like we might be playing Hereford, who have come all the way back into the playoff picture. As we now head up towards half-time here, we've got to turn things around if we've got any chance of getting back into this match. I'm going to go for that and see if that makes a difference. One player's looking fired up, so that's not good. Going to go for that. Hopefully that some of the players look motivated. They're still on the yellow OK morale, which is not good. They both look motivated though, which is fantastic. Steve Reed's looking nervous, so we may have to look at that. Also, Kevin Carrillo on a 6.4 as well. As we now begin the second half, let's hope we can get back into this game and end the regular season on a high before we head up into the playoffs, because I just very much doubt we can overtake Salisbury at this rate. They are on 90 points though, so are they losing their particular match? I'm not 100% sure on that. Let's actually have a quick gander at the fixtures if we can. Latest scores. Let's have a quick gander. As you can see, Salisbury are actually losing 1-0 away at Barwell, so we're really dropping the ball here. If we could get 2 goals, we all of a sudden will snatch the league title away from Salisbury on the last game of the season. But we need to get back into this game somehow, really, with 40 minutes remaining to play. Alright, entering the last 30 minutes, and really we've just not been at the races. Josh Green's looking frustrated, so I might bring on Marsh Katung actually, because he's also on a 6.4, which is not very good. Simeon May is just doing the best he can. I'm actually going to swap those 2 around, because I don't know why I played Alfie Davidson at Deep Line Playmaker when Simeon May is really good at that. So that's probably the reason why he's on a 6.3. We're going to switch them around for now, but we may have to switch Simeon May out later on in the match. Right, entering the last 23 minutes or so, we're going to take off Simeon May and bring on Phil Wolf, because yeah, I just need to. Simeon May is only on a 6.4 right now, and we need to change something. Steve Reed's looking nervous as well, so I might have to take him off and bring on Simon Bonner. He's on 76% as well, so we are going to go for it now, and we're actually going to go on full-on overload here to try and see if we can get a goal back. Or we need 2 goals actually in order to make any sort of difference in the overall league table, with 20 minutes remaining. Right, free kick for Leamington. Weston with the ball out towards Tawney. One back though by Carrillo, and here's Marsh Katung. Maybe a ball to Davidson, to Difford. Maybe might seek out Bonner, but unfortunately it's cut out by Freestone. But it's come back to Difford. Odofin then clears it away, and Obeng is on the run. We've won it back though via Utteridge, although it looks like we've had a pause, and it's a foul by Alfie Davidson, And he's been sent off. What a ridiculous thing by Alfie Davidson to do there. Getting sent off in the last game of the season, which will probably mean he is now out of the playoffs. I have absolutely no idea what we can do now. Central midfield, I'm going to change Phil Wolf to, and I'm going to leave it at that. I'll keep him on support, and let's hope that doesn't cost us too dearly in terms of our goal difference. I mean, it doesn't really make a difference what happens here today if it stays as it is, because we're already guaranteed to be in second place. But here's Osifua. Ball out to Osborne. Can we get a goal here with just 12 minutes remaining, which will put Leamington under a nervous wreck? But unfortunately, Marshall Katung has given it away, and here is Obeng. Ball up towards Weldon Cook, who might have a chance of scoring in the second, and it's saved well by Bills. Tony pulls it back to Weldon Cook, and Bills is there to save it again. That was a real big opportunity for Leamington to get a 2-goal cushion, and actually, they don't think they'll move up. They have to get I think 2 goals if they want to move up ahead of Weymouth into 11th place. Bit of a disappointing season for Leamington, considering the fact that they've been finishing in the playoffs the last 2 seasons and were unable to get promoted. There's a ball up towards Rowe. The man I singled out earlier, but it's another good save from Bills, and that's a third clear-cut chance for Leamington today with just 1.5 minutes remaining on the clock. We've just not been out the race. There's 9 shots, 6 on target though, but unfortunately none of them have been of highlight-worthy note, as Phil Wolf goes into the back of the Leamington player, and that's the end of the highlight. We've got now just 45 seconds remaining. It looks as if we're going to drop the ball here and miss an opportunity of snatching the league title away from Salisbury, but it looks like Salisbury have got level now, so it doesn't look like it would have made a massive difference if we were to overturn this victory, or overturn this in the next 20 seconds or so. So in the end, it looks like Salisbury are going to do enough to do their bit in order to guarantee themselves to win the league titles. Mayo puts the ball across, but it's cleared away by Freestone with 5 seconds to go. It looks like Leamington are going to win this game, and we're going to go into the playoffs on the back of a defeat, which is not good to say the least. We're going to be not going to be too harsh on the players. We're just going to be hopefully going to go for that and see if that makes a difference. A lot of them look to gain confidence, look to switch off a couple of players, which is not good. We need to try and improve this morale though, because they're all within the orange and yellow, which is not good at all. And the fact that Davidson's been sent off is going to kind of give us a headache when it comes to the playoffs. Alright, and there's the confirmation that Salisbury FC have won the Southern Premier Division and therefore have been officially being promoted. Yeah, we've got a newsfeed that we weren't able to get the win to win the game. Hereford have secured a playoff spot, so that means we will be playing Hereford in the playoffs. Hopefully we can prevent them going up at the same time as Salisbury, like they did a couple of seasons back when they were in the same division. Davidson's picked up a 2-match ban, which is not good. I'm going to give him a fine because that's not good enough, because he's breached his contract and he's been banned for 2 games. He's probably going to be banned for a couple of matches, so I'm going to fine him 2 weeks' wages, and he has accepted the fine. Let's hope that he learns from that and he can get back to what he normally does when it successfully on the pitch, rather than getting sent off. Alright, we're back again. Looks like we've got some sort of playoff semi-final draw. So I don't know. I thought it was second versus fourth and third versus fourth, or second versus fifth and third versus fourth. Sorry, I messed up there. Hopefully that's the case. Let's just have a quick gander. As we do the draw, Merthyr Town are at home to Dorchester. Yes, it just looks like it is. And Hereford are all at home instead of us. Oh no, actually no, they have changed it. It's now us at home against Hereford, and Merthyr Town are at home against Dorchester, which I think, if we look at the league, now if we go back to the league table, that's exactly how it should be. Yes, Merthyr Town are at home to Dorchester, which is third ahead of versus fourth, and then second versus fifth. So we've got a home match against Hereford, and then if we manage to win that, we then advance into the final, because I think it's just a one-legged thing, and yeah, it's whatever happens on the day results in the match results in that match being decided. So it does go all the way to penalties in the end. So it's not like the playoffs in the Football League where there is a two-legged thing. It looks like it's actually also at a neutral ground at Spencer Stadium. I don't know where that is. 6,500 capacity. Overview profile. Is there any way to figure out where that's from? I don't know who plays in that stadium. So the next episode will be the playoff matches, and hopefully you'll get to see a double live com there where we win the playoff semi-final against Hereford and then play the final match. but it could very, very easily be a very short episode, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get the automatic promotion spot, but even if we did win, it wouldn't have mattered anyway, because Salisbury managed to get a draw out of their match, if we just quickly check. Also, I forgot to mention, Steve Claridge actually has made up with me. He actually said some nice things after the match, which I didn't show you. I couldn't. He did it after I'd stopped the record button. But as you can see, yeah, they did draw 1-1. Dan Fitchett with a goal right there, and unfortunately for us, that resulted in them getting promoted. But congratulations to them. They've done so well this season, and they fully deserve it. If we go to the actual competition itself. But Josh Green did manage to win the Golden Boot, which is fantastic. 33 goals, 1 goal ahead of Dan Fitchett. James Difford in third with 23. Alright, so that's the end of the episode, and I will see you guys later, which will be episode 25, which will hopefully be double live com against Hereford and whoever wins the Merthyr Town Dorchester game. So until then, I'll see you later.